Good evening. We're here in sunny Chelmsford for the last match of this multi-format series, England v India. And the series is very much still at stake. England currently lead by 8 points to 6 after losing that second T20 at Hove in rather dramatic fashion. England are slightly at risk of having done to them what they did to Australia in 2017 down under when they came from behind and ended up drawing the series by winning that last T20 and it ended up being 8-all, and though Australia kind of retained the Women's Ashes trophy and waved it around a bit, they were actually quite annoyed about that, I think, and probably still are to this day. So I'm sure that if there are some Australians watching this, then you'll probably be hoping that that does happen to England. But obviously England will be very much hoping that they can win today. And you know, we did predict back in the vodcast that we did between the Test and the ODIs, Syd, we predicted that it would be quite a close series. Do you think that's a fair, do you think that the scoreline that we've got, the 8-6 scoreline, is it 8-6, yeah? The 8-6 scoreline is representative of the cricket that we've seen?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It feels like the England's wins have been big and convincing, and England have looked really good. India's wins, they obviously only won 2 games, but those wins have been like much closer matches, and you know they've kind of had to kind of crawl through by their fingernails. But on the other hand, they've got there. They've shown a bit of fight when they've actually had their backs to the wall. So I think today's going to be a really interesting game because India are really going to have belief now that they can do this and claw back and have that fight in them to get something from this series.
Yeah, and it's been brilliant for women's cricket to have a closely fought series, hasn't it, rather than England wrapping things up a couple of matches ago. Okay, fantastic. Now, last time we were at Chelmsford was pre-pandemic. It was summer 2019, and it was the Women's Ashes, and we rather saw Meg Lanning come out and do her thing. It didn't quite go to plan for England that evening, did it, Syd?
No, Fortress Chelmsford became Fortress Meg Lanning, and it was one of the great innings. I mean, she came in and it was like she'd faced like 3 balls before people were already checking the record books going, hang on, what's the record for the highest score? And she just looked to be batting on another planet, and it proved. She broke her own record for the highest score, subsequently been broken by Alyssa Healy. But it was a huge, fantastic innings, and it shows what you can do at Chelmsford as well. Chelmsford is a great venue for having these big innings in women's T20 cricket. So maybe we'll see something like that today. Maybe we'll see something like that from Shefali Verma. Shefali Verma, she's batted really well over the series as a whole. It's true that in the last match she didn't make it over the line to the 50, and she did face a lot of dot balls. But sooner or later that's going to come off for her. Sooner or later she's going to click from the go, and she's going to, all those dot balls are going to end up in the stands, and she's going to hit a huge score. I think Shefali Verma will break both Lanning's record for scores in this country as it stands, and the overall record. So 148, the overall record. Shefali's going to do that at some point. It's all going to click. Is she going to do it today, Raf?
No, I don't think so. Sorry to burst your bubble there, okay. Syd. I totally agree with you that she is going to do it at some point because she clearly has the talent to do that. But she is also suffering from a kind of psychological affliction, I think. Whenever she gets close to a milestone, be that 50 the other day at Hove, be that a century in the Test at Bristol, she almost kind of gets into her own head a bit, and she stops being Shefali Verma and she starts being rush of blood to the head moment and oh my goodness, and she gets out. And that is something that really the Indian management and the Indian coaches very much need to sit down and work with her on. But they won't have been able to do that in the 2 days since that T20 at Hove. That's going to be a longer term or a kind of medium term project with her, really. So it's going to take a little while longer to get sorted out, I think. I'd love to see it, and I think, as I say, it will happen, but maybe not today. We'll see who's right. Now, England did lose that T20, that second T20. Syd, do you think we'll see any changes in the England lineup today?
I don't think we'll see any change in the batting lineup. I think that Fran Wilson is going to have to sit on the bench again. So I think top 6 is going to be exactly the same. What about the bowling, Raf? What do you think?
Well, I think that they probably would have changed it up, would have been looking to change it up if they'd already had the series wrapped up, just to get some of those players who have been on the bench throughout the series a game. But I agree, I don't think that we will see any changes with the bowling lineup either. I think that England will be going into this unchanged. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Let's go and enjoy some cricket and enjoy the end of the series, and we'll bring you a full series review in our next full vodcast. See you then.